Hello, I am Save the Frogs founder, Dr. Kerry Kriger. It's November 6th, 2025. We are planning the Million Frog March. Check out the webpage, savethefrogs.com/million. That's taking place Saturday, November 15th in Washington, D.C. and cities worldwide. Our goal right now is to get volunteers active and answer any questions related to the march. So, let's start out with a few brief introductions. If you want to say a few words about yourself, where you're based, why you care about frogs or the Million Frog March, and anything you have in mind, that would be good. Hey, I'll start. I'm Save the Frogs founder, Dr. Kerry Kriger, concerned about the loss of frogs as I have been for over 2 decades. I founded Save the Frogs as the world's first and only public charity dedicated exclusively to amphibians. That was in spring of 2008. Our mission is to protect amphibian populations and to promote a society that respects and appreciates nature and wildlife. Amphibians have been rapidly disappearing around the world, and many endangered species here in the USA. Save the Frogs has programs worldwide. We've also done advocacy legislation. We've gotten federal legislation in place. The USFWS prohibited the importation and interstate transportation of 201 salamander species to prevent the influx of Batrachochytrium salamandrivorans, the salamander chytrid fungus. That was after we submitted a petition to them, along with the Center for Biological Diversity, to do so. We've also gotten state and local legislation, such as in California, to stop the importation of non Native American bullfrogs. And we've held various protests through the years. It's been a long time, but 2010, 2011, 2012, we held various protests, including in Washington, D.C., at the U.S. EPA to call for a federal ban on the use and production of atrazine, one of the world's most commonly used herbicides, which can turn male frogs into females at 2.5 parts per billion. We had a turnout of about 40 people to that event and got some good nationwide coverage on that. And we got the ear of the EPA. They invited me to speak to their scientists, which I did a week later and delivered about 10,000 petition signatures. And I have since returned to the EPA to talk to them about that. Right now, we've got a new problem, which is on top of frogs being under threat, our freedom of speech, at least in my country, are under threat. But worldwide, we'll say democracy seems to be on the decrease, and we don't want that, because when democracies disappear, we lose our rights to um, protect, defend, speak up for the environment. And usually, what happens is the environment gets sold off to the highest bidder. So, we don't want that to happen. So, we've got lots of reasons to speak up right now, which is why um, this is urgently happening. We'll say in America, it's getting cold and holidays are coming. People are not going to be back on the streets in mass, I don't think, until the spring. A few weeks ago was the largest peaceful protest in American history. 7 million people took to the streets. And about a week before that, frogs got extremely popular in the United States and in many parts of the world, with a lot of publicity of protesters beginning in Portland showing up in large inflatable frog costumes, which caught a lot of people's eyes. And frogs quickly became associated with peace, free speech, democracy. And so we're also taking advantage of that newfound popularity and making sure, or doing our best to connect the those frog lovers with the environmental aspects of what's happening to frogs, because many of them may not still even realize, hey, not only are frogs a symbol of democracy, but they're also under threat, and we've got lots of reasons to protect them. As you can find on savethefrogs.com, click the why frogs or do a search. Hey, there's a search bar at the top right of the website. Website's got over 1,000 pages of info. Type why frogs in there, you'll get the why frogs page and whatever else you're looking for. All right, so that's a bit about me, I guess you could say. Does anyone want to introduce yourselves, where you're from, why you're here, what you hope to accomplish? All right, Clay, let's get you up here.
Um, okay.
Hi, I can hear you.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah. Uh, I live in Reading, Pennsylvania, in the USA. So I was been retired for a couple of years. I've been a nature photographer for years, and also a animal rescue photographer for about 20 years, and been kind of looking for a new organization to volunteer with. Um, I used to volunteer, back in the 80s with the New Jersey, let's see, what's it called? The non-game and endangered species program. Um, Way back then, and I volunteered as a photographer and got to meet some, uh, got to meet some really cool people, young biologists and such out. And we were looking for different stuff, like the Pine Barrens tree frog was always cool to find that, a very localized kind of frog. And where I live, they were pretty abundant. Not easy to find, but they were there. Anyway, so moving on. So yeah, I've been looking for a new place to volunteer with. Oh, maybe some. I'm not a graphic designer, but I have a good aptitude for stuff. I've done some layout, pretty good with video editing and photo editing. So just looking for a new place to volunteer, and I've always liked frogs. I guess like most people, who I don't like anybody hates frogs. I don't know what there is to dislike about frogs, but I think they're pretty cool. I got a chance to film a couple of American toads mating in a pond where I go to a lot back in May, and then they had zillions of tadpoles swimming all around, and um, read a spot of news for trying to hunt them and all that kind of cool stuff. So I try to document that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's basically it. I've been looking for a new place to volunteer with, and we'll just give it a go and see what happens.
All right, good. Well, we welcome you here. I checked out your Wikipedia page and saw you have a long history of film, so we're happy to have you here.
Okay. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, thanks.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, anyone else want to introduce themselves?
I can go.
All right, Brenda.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Brenda Cardenas, and I'm a graphic designer and illustrator from Baja California, Mexico.
Hmm.
And I got interested into advocacy because I currently work full-time as a graphic designer for a nonprofit based in LA. And I have always loved animals ever since I was a child. So after after working for 2 years in the organization, I got really interested into actually getting into advocacy, and I'm really passionate about animals. And last year I read an article about the declining amphibian population, and I think that a lot of people, or most people, are not aware of how detrimental to our environment it can be. The fact that a species as a whole is, in the risk of disappearing or having, its population like severely decreased, how that can affect our whole planet and our species and basically all of us as a whole. So I'm really passionate about education. I believe that, via social media and promotion, we can really get the word out there. And I just really want to try and be a part of it. And that's pretty much it. Oh,
We can't hear you, Kerry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you for that, Brenda. Vrushli, you want to say a few words?
Yes, hi, good morning. I'm based in the country of India. There's a lot of volunteering that we anyway do traditionally, so I was happy, and I know Kerry from another community, so I'm like, yes, anything that I can help with. My background is in content development, so writing is my forte. Plus, personally, I'm a interspecies telepathic communicator, so that's a different angle I have in having a conversation with animals, which is what I love doing. So I'm here to support in any way, shape, or form that I can.
All right, thank you, Vrushali. And we've got Anuradha who showed up also from India. Anuradha, just in time, we were giving introductions and everyone's introduced themselves. You want to say a few words? I'll say a few words first. Anuradha has a nonprofit organization, Prithvi Innovations, I believe, based in Lucknow. And she is a Save the Frogs grantee and a multiple time Save the Frogs Day organizer. Save the Frogs Day is generally our largest event. It takes place annually every April 28th. So you can always put on your calendar Save the Frogs Day. The 18th annual Save the Frogs Day is coming up on April 28th, 2026. I'm taking a guess and saying that Anuradha will be planning something. But Anuradha, tell us a few things about yourself and maybe your organization, why you took the initiative to found an organization.
Okay, thank you so much, Kerry. And first of all, very warm greetings to everybody joining at different time zones, I suppose. Well, thank you so much for this very warm introduction. So, I think ever since I came to know about Save the Frogs and Kerry, I got so impressed and so much motivated that initially we were all not doing specifically anything focused on frogs. But I think for the last 5 to 6 years, we are constantly sharing information, making people aware about the importance of the frogs in the ecosystem. And we have a lot of amazing ideas which we have explored with Kerry's guidance and advice. And thank you so much for the support in terms of funds also, which helped us to carry on some activities. And that is why this time also on 15th November, we are very excited to do and be a part of this event also. So we are already talking to certain schools and maybe some community organizations. So let's see. And fortunately, 14th happens to be Children's Day in India. It is celebrated as Children's Day. So that is how we are we are trying to gear up the students to like also include frogs in their Children's Day celebration and make it a big event. So I will definitely get back to you with more when the plans actually come in shape. Right now we are just discussing and sharing the possibilities, and we do a couple of things related to biodiversity conservation, cleanup drives, plantation programs, waste management, and green livelihood. So we upcycle, and we have really created very beautiful zero waste, plastic free frog souvenirs. I would say handmade crochet things. I would love to share them later on. So I think Kerry, that's it for the introduction right now, and we are looking forward for your more tips, advice, and the beautiful posters that you have already created. We are already downloaded them, and
Okay,
we are just
good.
trying to yeah, we are just trying to pull up the social media campaign also with all the material that you have supplied to us. So
Yeah.
we'll be just adding some, making them, we'll translate them in Hindi also, so that it reaches the Hindi population also here. And we are looking forward to your wonderful advice and guidance as always, and happy
All
to
right.
meet the other participants here. I would love to know others also, and we can do something together in India, definitely.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, everyone out there, hey, we've got Brenda in Baja California, Mexico, into advocacy. Clay Myers, filmmaker, photographer. We've got Vrushali, content creator and interspecific communicator. And we've got Anuradha here. So, what I want to do, first thing I want to do is show you all the website and relevant materials that I've created related to the Million Frog March. And then we're going to break it down into two things that I want everyone doing, which is either you're either organizing your own event for which I will guide you as much as I can, and or you're going to ideally be helping me with the event in DC. So let's share my screen and see what's going on my all-time favorite amphibian themed website, savethefrogs.com, which I started building in 2008. It's been through a few versions. We're on my favorite one right now. And I often spend hours in a day on the website, meaning it's got well over a decade of, we'll say, many, many hours put into this website, thousands. So there's tons of info for you. So what can you do? You're on the home page. Hey, how do I find the Million Frog March? I put up a link right there at the top of pretty much every page on the site. You'll see it. Otherwise, I put it right there. Just slide down on the home page, and here we can see it. Hey, what is the Million Frog March? Historic gathering to defend democracy, freedom of speech, peace, amphibian conservation, and environmental protection. Saturday, November 15th, 2025. Hey, if you're organizing an event in your city, which I want you to do if you can't attend in DC, it doesn't have to be on the 15th. That would be ideal. It's a Saturday, so it's ideal for getting non-working people out there marching. But hey, if the 14th works better for you, it's a school day and or it's a children's day or whatever, and you want kids involved, then that's good. It's family friendly event. And let's see, click through and come to the Million Frog March page. There's a lot on this page. Okay. Feel free to use any of the graphics. First off, if any of the graphics you like, if anything can be improved, if anything's confusing, if you cannot find something, if the wording you don't like, if the images you want to make something better, then great. Let me know and let's keep improving the page. A shout out to our board member, Paige Donnelly, who's been giving me lots of tips and edits on these things. Okay, so first off, here's a table of contents you can click and you can see all the main sections. Hey, there's a lot on the page, but scroll through there, that'll take you straight to it. You say, hey, what are the volunteer opportunities that's relevant to our meeting? Click it and it'll take you straight there. All right, we need your help to make the Million Frog March a success. To make it more successful, we've created a Million Frog March volunteer action plan. So we'll check that out in a moment with numerous ways you can help out on your own. Okay, so that's how anybody out there can help. You don't ever have to contact me or Save the Frogs to get going doing this stuff. All right, if you do want to work directly with our team, then show up at events like these. This event, same time of day, will be taking place tomorrow and also this coming Monday and Tuesday. Okay, so that's November 7th and then November 10th and 11th. Hope I got my date right. Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay, but here's some roles. All right, this is not everything, but if you're good at any of these outreach and communications, contacting potential partner organizations, reaching out to media outlets, drafting social media content, and managing email responses. I won't say that's too necessary, but if you want to help, if you're good at writing and communication and you like to communicate and promote, then that's all stuff that's good for you. Event logistics, if you're coming to DC, and I'll say Clay, we have a Philadelphia based board member who's coming down on Friday and staying the night. If you want to attend and want a carpool, I can put you in touch with him. All right, so assist in DC, help out the organizers who are in different parts of the world, coordinate legal observers. All right, if you have any kind of legal experience, hey, it's a technically to the National Park Service in the United States, it's a demonstration. It's a First Amendment protected demonstration. So, hey, if we can have a legal observer there, that would be good. Manage the registration, contact people who have RSVP'd, keep in touch with people. All right, creative people, graphic designers, video people, create graphics and visual assets, design printable materials. So that would be, hey, what's something that we could use to promote the event and what's something we could hand out at the event. Maybe the same thing. Develop video content, make frog costumes and props, signs, media and documentation, photography, videography. We do have a well, I'll say, what is he? I think he's a photography student in university, and he's coming down with professional equipment to the event. live social media coverage. Hey, you want to go live talking about the event? Post-event media compilation after the event, helping to create some, event wrap-up materials and maybe even some video created out of the photos or the video that gets taken. Interview coordination and writing. If you want to interview anyone who's attending the event or a bunch of people and come up with, hey, an article on anything, why to attend the event, why are people attending the event. Legal support. All right, if you're a legal pro bono, legal observers, know your rights training, permit assistance if needed. All right, so those are just, hey, a bunch of different ideas, but let's go. Well, wait, we got one more thing here. You've all seen this probably, volunteer meetups. That's what we're on right now. All right, here are the dates right there. All right, tomorrow and then Monday and Tuesday, November 10th and 11th. All right, so right here, volunteer action plan. I think that's where everyone should start once they know, well, read the whole page right there, but let's just go straight to the action plan and discuss things that anyone can do. All right, so when we come here, hey, savethefrogs.com/million-volunteers. A million volunteers, can you imagine it? Can you imagine a million frogs marching or a million people marching on behalf of frogs? All right, how can you help spread the word? That's what the main goal of this is. Hey, there's some of the frogs that inspired this movement or artistic renderings of them. We'll say the current movement. All right, quick things. Hey, 15 to 30 minutes. I mean, you can spend as long or as little as you want. Share on social media. So we've created, now everyone knows, most of you probably know how to use social media. But hey, if you feel stuck or want some help or want some ideas, come over here. Pre-made social media templates on this page. All right, so we've got, just some template text you can use and some different images. Feel free to use any of the images on this page. Personal invitation, call for people to organize events. Quick teaser. Hey, maybe good for a site that limits how long your posts can be. Sharing with environmental groups, sharing with democracy, civil rights groups, signs. All right, so just a bunch of ideas for social media in there. Let's see if there's anything else of relevance, how to customize it, engage people, tips for different platforms, and links to Save the Frogs social media. Go follow us on your favorite social media platform at Save the Frogs. Okay, this is important. Most people don't understand this. Hashtags to me, hashtag, the number sign is not a very important thing. Okay, what's important is, are you tagging at symbol Save the Frog so that people actually can find us on our channel? Hashtags go to some search page, which is a collection of people who've posted about that hashtag. That's kind of cool. Maybe those people will find us. I use those kind of hashtags as just ways for people who happen to be on that search results page to click through to our post. But if you want someone who's reading your post to know about Save the Frogs, you have to use at Save the Frogs. Okay, that sends them straight to our page. All right, so there's that social media page. Now let's go back here to the main volunteer action plan. Share on social media. Comment on influencer posts. What's that mean? If you know there's somebody out there or an organization out there who's always posting about frogs or First Amendment rights or think marches that they plan to do soon, okay, like-minded people, then commenting in there and letting those people reading the comments and hey, maybe even the influencer, the person in charge of the account, let them know about the Million Frog March. Download and share graphics. All right, anywhere on our homepage, any of these images that you're seeing, feel free to use them. Add them to your cover photo, story highlights, profile images. Share with friends via text, email, or messaging apps. Hey, I've done that myself. Hey, so-and-so, you're invited to the march. You gonna come? All right, find more graphics. We're already there. Social media templates page. Email your network and relevant organizations. That's what I was doing yesterday. Send a personalized message to 5 to 10 of your friends, colleagues, or relevant organizations who care about the environment or democracy or like to be creative. They like activism, or maybe they just like frogs. All right, here's a short sample message, but what I did yesterday, I created this page. Million Frog March email templates. Now, just like social media templates are for social media use, here are actual email templates. Use them to reach out to environmental groups, democracy advocates, community organizations. All right, short and direct. It's got a subject line. All right, Million Frog March. It's got the name of the event, the date of the event, the place of the event. If you're not promoting Washington, D.C., leave that out. Okay, just promote in general, organize wherever in the world you are. All right, Save the Frogs is organizing the Million Frog March in Washington, D.C. on November 15th. We'd love for you to share this event. There's the ask with your members and supporters. Date, time, location. This is a nonpartisan gathering. I put that because the very first letter I sent out yesterday was to a wildlife group in the DC area, an email. And the woman's response, and I sent it to her because she had organized the Save the Frogs event long ago. And she said, "Yeah, I'll share it with our people, but you know that we cannot promote any kind of, partisan activities." So I added this in so that there'd be no doubt this is a nonpartisan gathering. It says it on our site, but she may have thought automatically it's a protest, and therefore we may not be able to. I mean, is it a protest? It's a march. It's a rally. We're not necessarily. I don't know what you. I guess we could call it any of those things, but it's nonpartisan. All right. We're not telling people to start or stop any law, and we're not promoting any candidates or anything. Okay. All right. A healthy environment requires a healthy democracy and vice versa. Now, learn more and register, etc. So we've got different emails. If you feel like sending emails to me, this is super important. And for a volunteer, if someone wants to help me, yesterday, what I did, I went and scoured the internet for the emails of environmental science professors and staff at George Washington University, George Mason University, George Washington, um, American University, George Mason University, and University of Maryland. I guess I forgot George Washington University. That has not been done. Georgetown University, I could only find the main office of the environmental department email. So anyway, I sent these emails out to them, BCC, if you're sending to multiple people and you don't want them all to see everyone's email address. Who knows how many pass through spam? Um, but ideally they're going to people you know. If you know someone at the organization, that's going to be the best. Otherwise, who knows? But I think it's important to let the relevant organizations know. Now, there's a whole lot more relevant organizations than what I just mentioned. So, okay, back here to the main page, the main volunteer action plan. All right, contact local student groups. Okay, if you are at a university, especially, there's almost certainly a university environmental club. That's where I would start with. And um, let's see. Hey, it's not a pure environmental event. It's also about democracy and free speech. So civics rights groups, student government, environmental committees, college climate action groups. A lot of universities, colleges have those. Law school environmental clubs, graduate student environmental networks. All right, contact local environmental nonprofits, local and national, native plant societies, wildlife societies, hiking clubs, climate action groups. For me in DC, I know that there's large environmental groups based here. Nature Conservancy, Defenders of Wildlife, NRDC have offices. So for wherever you are, or wherever you're trying to get action going, think of what groups have offices there, especially. All right, contact civil rights democracy organizations, League of Women Voters, ACLU, voting rights orgs, civil rights groups, and that's just slightly amend the email to make it appealing to that demographic. Create your own graphics, graphic designers out there, or even people in this era of Canva and similar tools. You don't even have to be an amazing Technologists to do the graphic design because they make it easy. You just have to think about, you know, what image do you want? They may have a lot of images to choose from, and what do you want the text to be? All right. And, you know, go ahead, create your own graphics. If you do that, please send them to me, and then I can add them to the site if they should be on the site. Our official hexadecimal colors, if you want to make it look Save the Frogs. We do have a brand guide if you're a graphic designer and want that. I put in the chat here relevant URLs as everyone was introducing themselves. SaveTheFrogs.com/Mexico, SaveTheFrogs.com/million for this event, SaveTheFrogs.com/India, SaveTheFrogs.com/graphic-design. If you're a graphic designer and want to volunteer long term, go to that page, SaveTheFrogs.com/graphic-design. All right, start a local organizing group if you're organizing your own event. Then Facebook group or group chat, whatever software you use to do that. WhatsApp groups. All right, bigger action. Organize a satellite event in your city. All right, this is the ultimate action. Okay, I'll say, I guess, aside from showing up in Washington, D.C., you'll be starting a grassroots movement locally. All right, so we have an event organizers page. All right, visit that page, read through that whole page, choose your date, time, and location, review the Frog March Code of Conduct. Okay, it's a peaceful event. Register your event. That helps us keep track of what's going on and communicate with you. All right, promote using the steps detailed on this page. Download organizing resources, which we're in the midst of creating. Get permits if required in your area. All right, chances are, well, I won't speak for your area, just get permits if required. Coordinate logistics, promote heavily on social media every day, host your event, and then tell us what happened. All right. Pitch to local media. If you have any contacts, journalists, then I'd start there. We have a press release. It should be mentioned right here. Hey, use our press release. I could add that right now. Let's just do it before it's forgotten. We can look at this organizers page as well. Let's get in here and add this link. Pitch local media. So I'll say, feel free to use our MFM press release hyperlink.
Quick observation here,
Yes.
Kerry. Do you want to add the word non-partisan in here as well somewhere?
Let's take a look in a moment. Let me get this link in here first. All right, there it is.
Yes.
Hit save. All right, where are you referring to? All of these or one of them specifically?
This one right in front.
Okay, it's a historic nationwide and worldwide march. It's addressing the connection. Um, let's see. A historic, nonpartisan. I guess I'll just put it right there. Nonpartisan, nationwide, worldwide. I'm gonna say worldwide. Just leave that there. People can change it. All right, thank you. All right, now there it is right there. Feel free to use our Million Frog March press release. We'll look at that momentarily. Organize a sign making party. Hey, you want, if you're holding an event or showing up, then make signs with some other attendees and film it, turn it into some good social media content. We have sign slogans. All right, ongoing action, share stories and updates. Follow Save the Frogs on our social network and hit the share button on the stuff we put up there. Engage, like and comment, tag some friends, repost. All right, answer questions and onboard people when people ask about the march. Some talking points down here, talking points for interviews. Hey, I was interviewed by the BBC the other day. Hopefully that'll come out before the event. All right, track your impact, and then some relevant resources right there. All right, let's see what else I opened. The press release. All right, here's some standard press release format. Pretty much just copy and paste it and change it, edit as needed to be relevant to whoever you're sending it to. So there's the press release, savethefrogs.com/million-press-release. Here are sign ideas. Create some nice fun. I try to make these fun, most of them kind of fun signs. We'd rather croak than be silenced. All right. And not all are necessarily fun. Healthy ecosystems need healthy democracies. Kind of serious. Amplify amphibian rights. I like frogs and I vote. Ribbit for your rights. Join the ribbit resistance. Happy to be here for democracy. All right, so there's a bunch of ideas. That's on the main Million Frog March page. You'll see those. And we looked at the email templates. Here's the organizers page. SaveTheFrogs.com/million-organize. All right, can't make it to Washington, D.C. for the main event? Host your own Million Frog March event and bring the movement to your community. Okay, so if you're able to host an event, then read through this whole page. Why organize it? What is an independent event? You're in charge of it. That's the main thing. What we provide, the resources we provide, things we don't provide, such as on-site management and supervision and permits. Okay, your responsibilities. So just take a quick read through that. Make sure you understand all that. Getting started. Understand your local requirements. Register your event, plan your event, promote your event, execute and document what happened, and then share your story. All right, recommended best practice. Start small. I say for everyone out there, hey, there's only 9 days left. Okay, it's probably not going to be huge, but you don't need that many people out. Just get a good group of people out there. Promote. Try to spread the word as much as you can. Learn something about organizing. Hey, every time I organize, okay, I get better at it, I get faster at it, I make some more contacts, get some more ideas, so that if we do this again, hey, a Save the Frogs Day Million Frog March with a lot more time to plan, then we'll all be better organizers. All right, code of conduct, frequently asked questions. And all right, let's turn all this off. Summary is from the main homepage. Get to the Million Frog March page, savethefrogs.com/million, and there will be tons of info for you there. This page has all kinds of things. Let's see what else. Why we march, code of conduct, sign ideas, our goals, what to bring if you're showing up at this event in DC or your own event. There's event organizers info on spreading the word. If your organization wants to partner with us or just endorse the event, then read that right there. Volunteer opportunities we discussed. Why frogs are important right there. And hey, if you're showing up at the event, RSVP, register to attend. Info about Save the Frogs, a whole lot of frequently asked questions. Contact us, march@savethefrogs.com, email address, and some plenty of pictures of past protests and rallies, demonstrations that we've held in the past, and some related articles down here. All right, good. Let's get out of here. And hey, it's just us again. Let's see. All right, now we all know a whole lot about the march and how we can get involved. So first, let me start with, and given our limited time here, I think that was an important introduction, though. I don't know if any of you will be back over the next several of these sessions to get more personalized advice than we now have time for, though I am available by email for certain, even if you cannot. But let's start out. Anuradha, do you think you're organizing an event? And if so, is there anything you want to ask me about that or
Yeah.
any kind of advice that you need, or you want to tell us what you have in mind?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Kerry. First of all, I think I would love to know how this idea suddenly came to your mind of organizing this march. The main,
Okay. Yeah, I
yeah,
haven't
that is
said that.
something
Okay. So
interesting. I would
I'm
love to
not
know
sure
that.
if you heard because you were not here at the very start, but frogs got very popular about I mean, it wasn't long ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, when a protester, Seth Todd, I think is his name, showed up at the Portland, Oregon anti-ICE protests of, we'll say, government overreach and government-induced violence. And um, as the president of this country was calling all of those people violent, not the people committing the violence, the protesters, he was trying to label as
Mm.
violent people. So to contest that, people started showing up in inflatable frog costumes, inflatable unicorn costumes, inflatable um, axolotls, and just to make a mockery of the fact that someone would call the protesters violent when the protesters are just dancing around looking like big and like a kid's birthday party. Okay, so anyway, that went viral, we'll say, and frogs got a lot of publicity in relation to democracy. So frogs are now popular. Um, Freedom of speech is under threat and other rights in this country and many
Right.
places, maybe to a lesser extent, worldwide, or the rapidity of the change to, we'll say, oppression is happening faster here than in most places, unfortunately. Not a laughing matter. But
Right.
anyway, that's what it was, along with the fact that Save the Frogs has a long history of protecting frogs, spreading the word about
Mm.
frogs. I want to take advantage of the moment. I want to connect those people who now like frogs to the environmental aspect of frog protection and
Mm.
do something. I was out of the country for a year. I was not able to attend any kind of protests or marches or
Okay.
anything. I'm in the
Hmm.
country and I want to, we'll say, do my part and give people out there a opportunity to do something that should be fun and productive and fulfilling and good for frogs and the environment and the country or whatever, community the events are taking place in. And I was on social media looking through the comments of something frog related, and someone had put Million Frog March in the comments.
Okay.
And
Uh-huh.
so this comes from, I didn't even know the history. I was thinking there was only a Million Mom March, which was famous, and that was in the year 2000. And I think there
Okay.
probably were a million moms who showed up in Washington, D.C., marching, I think, against gun violence. And then I also found out that there was a Million Man March in 1995, which was
Okay.
in support of equal rights and non discrimination. And that
Okay.
also was very large. So the name has, on top of mom and frog both having the O, that the name
Right.
has significance in American society as a big
Mm.
march of, to
Mm.
me,
Right.
like something serious kind of in the past. And now we're taking
Mm.
it, and it's so like, as I said before, it's absurd to think of, the possibility of a million frogs marching, or even a million people marching on in defense of frogs, because frogs have traditionally been so neglected, and people think of frogs as kind of a fun
Right.
or funny Kermit the
Right.
Frog kind of animal. And yet at this moment in time, I think people can draw
Mm.
the connection of
Mm.
what's going on. Frogs are now popular. Frogs are related to the
Mm.
democracy movement and activism. So I like the name, and I thought, hey, if anyone can set up a Million Frog March, it's me, and that sounds fun. And I thought about it. I deliberated. Um,
Mm.
I was out of the country. Giving a presentation in Mexico, and I was thinking, should I? Yes, no, yes, no, and then I was like, hey, you got to do it. It's got to be done. Let's do it. So just make your decision and get going. So that's what happened. That's the
Yeah.
history of how we came.
That's really nice to know. Very inspiring and very motivating. So we have very quick plans. We are still talking to the schools and some of the people around us. So two things I would love to know from you. We might be doing the program on 14th and 15th on both the days at two different places,
Okay.
two or three different places. That is the plan. So besides the social media campaign, we will be running the social media campaign using the graphics, and we would also love to design and volunteer to design some graphics for you.
Yeah, please
If
do. Design
yeah.
graphics that you think your supporters will like. Ideally, it'll say Million Frog March. Ideally, it'll have a Save the Frogs logo and your logo on it.
Mhm.
And
Right.
savethefrogs.com/million so people can find out. But yeah, make the graphic however you think
Mm.
your people are going to like it.
Yeah, so that is so one thing I would love to know from you. Does it has to be a march or a rally or a roadshow kind of a thing?
It
Or it
doesn't.
could be a simple event like a gathering wherein we are sharing and we are doing some fun activities, games with the children and students because the idea was children are like frogs and frogs are like children. Children also keep jumping here and there and croaking all
Yeah.
the time. So that is how we are trying to relate the two things together and why it is important for children also to understand and parents to understand the need for a mindful democracy, I would say
Yeah.
mindful democracy which
Yeah.
could provide a safe environment to both the children and the frogs. So that is how we are trying to gel the two things
Okay.
together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never going to stop anyone from holding or even discourage anyone from holding a Save the Frogs or any kind of frog related educational event. I think that's a good idea always. Ideally, there would be some March aspect, but that's up to you. If you don't, who knows what, the weather's bad or kids don't want to go outside or you can't get permission to take kids around the block. But, maybe from the school, it's just like
A small
we
walk
do a
kind of a thing.
15-minute walk through the
Right,
neighborhood
right,
holding up some
right.
signs because then a lot of people outside, a
Mhm.
lot of people, especially in India, people are hanging out outside and people are curious what's going on in
Right.
the streets and they're going to come out and, ask some questions. So that would be ideal. But if it doesn't fit
No,
with
so
that,
we are
that's
planning for
fine.
a march, and basically on 15th in the evening, we are the school is hosting a fete. So
Yeah.
in that fete, we are planning to involve the parents also and the community people also by doing a small walk by the children or maybe
Okay.
holding some puppets of frogs and things like that. So
Yeah.
we are create the finger puppets you might have seen that we shared with you last time also
Yeah.
on the Zoom itself. So we have very beautiful finger puppets of frogs and the other animals, and the frogs are telling stories. So some kind of a
Okay.
storytelling
Good.
will be there,
Yeah, I think
and we would have that.
a good activity
Mm.
would be kids. If you are going to do a march, then you have one day or early in the morning or whatever, you have the kids draw up, do some frog art on
Yeah,
signs, connect it
right.
to a pole or however you're going to hold it up,
Huh.
or maybe it's just like that, and then you walk out with the
Right.
signs.
Right,
Okay,
right.
good.
So these
All
are
right.
these are certain things that we are planning, and definitely we would love to maybe do a small videos also. Maybe children or maybe teachers and parents talking about maybe the importance of frogs, something of that sort.
Good.
So it's all in the plan. Let's see finally how everything builds up.
Okay. All right. Well, keep me posted. Register it if it goes through. Let me, in the interest of time, let me get some other people up there to get them working on something. And let's see. I'll say we have, as I said, we have Save the Frogs Day every April 28th, and sometimes there are marches for that. Froggy rallies. In Bangladesh, they call them a froggy rally, and they'll get lots of people out there, maybe with froggy hats and holding up banners. And some other places, but definitely Bangladesh has held a lot of those. But in general, Save the Frogs Day, it's kind of like whatever you want to do related to frogs. Whereas Million Frog March, I would like people out there in the streets. Of course, whatever you can do for frogs, better than not doing anything for frogs. All right. With that said, let me get Clay up here. Clay contacted me a couple days ago. And Clay, from all that you've heard, I guess I have my ideas of what I'd like you to do, but what do you have in mind for how you'd want to put your filmmaking skills to use?
Uh, well, I'm not sure I can make it down there. I'm not sure how much I could do, Kerry, between now and the 15th.
Okay.
Uh, just because of some things I have going on here,
Yeah.
but more of a long-term thing.
Okay.
As far I'm not really sure what to do. I'm not real big on social media. I mean, I have
Yeah.
a Facebook page, but I'm not
Okay.
connected
Well,
much.
let me ask you something
Yeah,
then.
yeah,
Because I guess what I thought was maybe you'd be able to make a short film, 2 or 3 minutes or something before the event to promo the
sure.
event. But if you can't do that, then when the event's done and we have our footage, can I send you a
Uh,
big folder of footage and
yeah,
you
yeah,
turn it into
yeah.
some kind of post event? There wouldn't be any like, time deadline or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, sure. And then I could do something leading up to it. Do you have some B-roll that you can send me, or what kind
Uh,
of thing did you have in
I
mind?
mean, I guess whatever you need, ask for, and I'll do my best. Like we have, uh, I don't, I don't know, just any kind of actual video. So far, we've only put up like images to promote the event. So if
Right.
there's anything, I mean, I could even, I don't know, I could record an audio thing of, it's just like, it's kind of up to you. Like, hey, give me 60 seconds of you talking, explaining the event. Or it could just be some photos put together with just some text up there and some
Mhm.
music in the background, nobody talking, just text like attend the Million Frog March, defend democracy and, environment, and Washington D.C. November 15th, and some cool pictures of frogs and stuff.
Yes, I could definitely do that. I'm trying to think. So you would do a voiceover and
I
then
could. I can
some.
do whatever you suggest. I could, if it's definitely if it's easy. I mean, I've got a microphone right here. All I have to
Right.
do is if you tell me what you want, or if you don't want any voice, and if you just need frog photos, I've got tons of frog photos on my computer. If you see any
Mhm.
images on the site, you can just right click, copy the link address, say, please send me the high resolution version of this. We have access to stock photos and maybe
Sure.
even some stock frog video,
Hmm.
stuff. So whatever you need, I can help out.
Yeah. Yeah, that I could do. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Probably, I guess, pretty time sensitive here. Uh,
I mean, we've got 9 days
okay. I
whenever
can
it's
work on it
ready.
this
It
weekend.
doesn't have to be the most amazing thing ever. I think
Sure.
let's just start out with something simple and short. And yeah, you can either work on it and write me by email, or if you want to
Uh,
meet with me, we can just do it together. I can just be in the background for when you need
yeah,
stuff.
I could start working on a draft.
Okay, good.
Uh, Usually I would come up with some kind of draft and then I would just send it
Sounds
to you
good.
like, hey, is this even close to what you're looking for? And then
Yeah.
take it from there. You know,
All right, good.
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
So let's be
Sure.
in touch.
Sure.
All
Mhm.
right. All right. Brenda. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. What are you thinking as far as your role, if any, in the Million Frog March?
Okay, so as a graphic designer, I think I can help you creating some signs, specifically for the protest itself.
Yeah,
Uh, I can
good.
I can take some of the phrases that you already have on
Yeah,
the website, or if you have other ideas. At my job, I actually we're having a protest, well, for World Day of Remembrance,
okay.
and
What is that in remembrance of?
oh, in remembrance of traffic violence victims. It's on the
Okay.
16th of this month.
All right.
So I usually create signs, in PDF, so can people, can just print them out and take them. I can do that for you.
Yeah,
If you also need me to design flyers, like physical flyers that have to be printed and handed out. I can also work on social media graphics. That's, like the first
good.
thing that came to my mind. I
Yep.
noticed that you don't have like banners or graphics for stories to be shared on Instagram, so I can also do
Yeah.
that.
All right, good.
And
Look in the chat box right there. There's a link, and that's a folder for graphic designers. So there's a lot of relevant stuff
oh,
in there. Take a look through there, and that'll get you
perfect.
going. It's got a brand guide in there. Feel
Oh,
free to use. They don't have to be green and orange official Save the Frogs colors, but it always looks good when it is. And yeah, I think start out like probably what I would do for a sign myself. um, 17 by 23 inches
Hmm.
because there's a company that prints 18 by 24 and they just put it and they leave a half-inch border on all sides. So 17 wide by 23 high.
Okay.
Really, it could be landscape. It doesn't matter. Why don't you try to come up with an actual sign for at the protest that could get printed out? But then, yeah, any of those other things that you said, just start going. You can send them to me as you make them. We could also create a shared folder, but just email me, and then we can also meet um, together and just get a bunch of it done.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
good.
good.
All right, thank you. All right, let's move you virtually.
Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Great.
What do you
So you
think like
tell
you,
me what
yeah,
help you would need, and
okay.
I'll see what the
Yeah.
best I can do.
I think
And I'll
help
coordinate with Anuradha because,
Yeah.
there's definitely something local that I can support her with. So that is definitely doable.
okay, good.
Thank you.
Do you,
Thank you.
do you have any contacts with any journalists?
I don't know how useful they will be, but let me
Okay.
let
Well,
me look up my contact list.
I was just thinking like help get some media attention to Anuradu's event. But what I was thinking, number one was helping me write some of these using those email templates that I showed you. And we could come up with a list, or you can just kind of come up with your own list by doing some Google searches of some Washington, D.C. based relevant groups, environmental groups, and or democracy, civil rights groups. And um, to let you know, there's Washington, D.C., Northern Virginia, and Maryland, or those are all search terms you can use that would be relevant.
Will do.
Metropolitan DC area for when you're trying to find these
Okay.
groups. I'll say relevant, um, relevant universities, um, George Mason, Georgetown, American University, University of Maryland, and what am I missing there? George Washington, I think that's a university. George GWU, George Washington University. And I'd say contact their kind of civil rights, democracy, political science, um, staff, students, groups. There's some ideas. Then there's also the nonprofit organizations. Another thing that you can do is I'm putting all this in the chat. You can do a search for No Kings events. That was the big protest that happened in recent weeks. No Kings events that took place in the DC area, Northern Virginia, Maryland included. And you can see um, if there's websites of the organizers, because some of those were by organizations. And on the No Kings website, you could just do a web search for this info, but you could also go to the No Kings website. And I think they have like a event map of all the marches or events that took place a few weeks ago, and that was October 18th. So go find their event map and then kind of blow it up until you get the DC area and see where all the dots are and click the dots and it'll have info on what took place. And then maybe you can find those, either they'll have an email or a social media page or something and try to contact the organizers there. And if that's the case, you
Right.
can say, hey, I saw you organize a No Kings event, that I think that you and your supporters, followers would also be interested in this. All right.
Yep.
All
Got
right,
it.
good. Okay, thank you. All right. Let's see. We've been on an hour and let's keep it to that. I'll be back on same time tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday. Hopefully get some new people up here. If you know anyone else who would want to join in, then let them know. I'm going to put this up on YouTube unless you have any problem with that. I think it would be very helpful to people, and then I'll embed it. Hey, I could put it on Vimeo and then embed it in the Save the Frogs website in the volunteer area so that people who come to the site have tons of ideas. Because I think our goal was right now, my goal was to, hey, find out who was out there, what you're into, get you going on stuff, but also to make sure anyone watching this video would have tons of ideas for how they can get involved. Anurada, how's it going?
Yeah, I just have a small question. I just
Okay.
wanted to know, like the various organizations who have been part of Save the Frogs in India. So are they also like aware about it, and are they joining from Hyderabad and from Delhi and other places so that we can connect also, as
Yeah.
Brushali very rightly said. And thank you so much, Brushali, for helping us out.
Yeah.
And that is one thing. And second, my question was like, how many people are you expecting to join at Washington, D.C. for this March on 15th? Like, what is a target that is in the mind
I
in
mean,
your
I'd like a
mind?
million, but I don't think we're going to get there this time. If I
But
had a
still,
hundred
how
people,
many?
if I had 100 people out there, I'd be pretty happy. So
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
working. We'll say I'm setting that as my goal. If I can get 100 people out there, okay, because if I
Mhm.
can get 100 people out there, that's some. I mean, that's more people than I've never seen a
Yeah.
100 people marching on
Right.
behalf of frogs in my whole life. So to
Mhm.
me, that's a lot. Well, our event, Save the Frogs Day 2011 at the U.S. EPA, Environmental Protection Agency in D.C., we had 40
Mhm.
people there, and I thought that was a very successful event. So you don't need tons of people. You just
Right.
have to, have the right people out there and have the right
Mm.
message, and ideally get some journalists out there writing up about the article or writing up about the event and getting the word out.
Right. And one last suggestion to
Yeah.
you would be like the history and the how you came up with this idea. So
Yeah.
maybe just a small note on that would also be very helpful. Just the
Okay, well,
background
it's in
of
this
how.
video at a minimum, and this video is going to be up there. But yeah,
Yeah, but something in the
I'll
text which we
extract the
can,
transcript and
yeah,
write
so that we
something up.
can attach that text also with the emails that we'll be sending to the schools and maybe inviting them for this. And
Okay.
especially for the press people, the media
Yeah.
people, for them it would be very useful to understand the
Okay,
connection
good.
between.
Good.
Right. Thank
All
you.
right. Yes. All right. Um, I think that's it. I am Save the Frogs founder, Dr. Kerry Krieger, here promoting the Million Frog March taking place November 15th, 2025 in Washington, D.C. and cities worldwide. SaveTheFrogs.com/million. And that's it. So, everybody out there, thank you so much. Together,
Thank you,
we can
everybody.
save the frogs. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.